iOS 17.1 is finally here, the first big update to iOS 17 since its initial release. Now this is actually, in my opinion, a great update. It brings a lot of improvements, especially on performance and battery, and of course it has a few new features and changes as well. Some of them are really important. So in today's video we're going to talk about this update, and I will show you guys 10 new tips and tricks on iOS 17.1 that I believe every iPhone user must know. And we're starting with the battery settings. Now if you have a newer iPhone with USB Type-C, you probably know that you can charge other devices, whether that's an iPhone or maybe your AirPods or even your Apple Watch. You can charge them via the USB port. Of course, on the other side, you will have to have the charger that's appropriate for the other device. Now on iOS 17.1, when you go to your battery settings, right here you will see how much battery each of your apps have actually used on your device. But now you will also see how much battery have your accessories used which you have actually charged using your iPhone with USB Type-C. So you can see right here it says USB Type-C, and if I go there it shows how much I have charged actually other devices for how many minutes, and of course how much battery percentage that has consumed during the last 24 hours. And of course you can see that for the past 10 days as well, as you can see it right here. Now with iOS 17.1, you're also getting a very nice feature or trick on the App Store. When you go to search for something on the App Store, you tap there and then you tap on the search bar. So if you don't want to reach for the search bar, all you have to do is just tap twice. Once, twice, and there you go, it pops up the keyboard, and of course it goes straight to the search bar. Now this right here is one of my favorite changes on iOS 17.1. You know, with iOS 17 we have the interactive widgets like this one right here for reminders. If you have a list of reminders, of course you can check them from here. But if you did that by accident on iOS 17, it will just disappear from the widget, giving you no time to actually correct your mistake. But now if I check this, I will still have time to uncheck this if I just did that by accident. The Apple Music app also has gotten a lot of new features with iOS 17.1, a lot of very welcomed improvements. Now here's one of them. When you go to one of your songs, let's say this one right here, and I want to add it to a playlist, I can tap it there and it will show me the playlists that I have on my device. What it also shows you is already added, and you can see right there under the playlist where this song is already added, it will basically state that so you don't add the same song to the same playlist again. Now, as you probably know, with iOS 17.1, Apple has replaced the heart button with the favorite button on the Music app. Now what's really cool is that you can do that of course from here, from the player, but you will also be able to do that directly from the lock screen of your device. So if I'm on the lock screen, I can still favorite or unfavorite any song I want. And while on the lock screen, if you now extend a wallpaper and you do that by accident, which is of course the new feature of iOS 17, you can revert it to its original state very easy. Now previously, if you just like stretched out the wallpaper, it would extend it and then you would have to actually try to do that manually to bring it to its previous state. Now all you have to do is just tap on the three dots, and where it says right there extended wallpaper, you just tap on it and it brings back the wallpaper to its original state. This right here is another one of my favorite changes on iOS 17.1. What Apple has done is that they basically have removed the show more button from the show folder action on the action button for the iPhone 15 Pro models. So if I just go here to the action button and set up that, so you can do that by going to the shortcuts here, choose a shortcut, and then what you will have here is show folder. If you tap there, it will show the folders of shortcuts that you have on your device, and you can pick one of them right there. Now what you can do with iOS 17.1 is run it using the action button, and now it will remove, actually they have removed the show more button. It will show your 8 like most recent shortcuts that you have on that folder, and of course you can go ahead and just run any one of them directly from here, which is very easy to do, and of course very convenient at any time that you might want to have, like let's say some of your favorite shortcuts, you can just put them on a folder and then you will have access to them via this button. a lot of iOS 17 users that have an iPhone with the dynamic island have been mad to Apple because they only put a pretty cool feature on the iPhone 15 Pro, and that's the flashlight on the dynamic island. I think that's very useful, especially if you just turn on the flashlight by accident. You no longer have to keep it on like that because you will see it right there on the dynamic island. Now this feature actually works on any iPhone with a dynamic island. You can see right there it shows the icon of the flashlight. What you can do is of course tap there, and it allows you to actually turn it off directly from the dynamic island. So it not only shows you that you have the flashlight turned on, you can also turn it off directly from there. And the last two are like more tips than tricks, so basically let you know about certain features and how they work. First of all, we have AirDrop via the internet. So on iOS 17.1, if you go to general and go right here to AirDrop, you will see something called use cellular data, which means that you can use cellular data to AirDrop things. So basically how it works, if you just start an AirDrop and then you move further away from the other phone, it will continue the AirDrop via the internet. This doesn't mean that it will do everything through cellular data, because if your phones are connected to a Wi-Fi network, it doesn't have to be on the same Wi-Fi network. It will still work and it will use the Wi-Fi. But if you just disconnect, of course, from the other phone and Wi-Fi as well, then this will allow it to actually use your cellular data to continue the transfer of that file, which is of course very convenient. And this last one is a really important privacy setting that I think everyone that updates to iOS 17 and 17.1 must check on their device. It is called significant locations. I did talk about this on my settings video. If you have missed that, you make sure that you check this setting. Now what happened here is that a lot of users, I had this happen to myself and a lot of other users, have reported that this setting will turn on automatically once they have updated to iOS 17. Thankfully, Apple has fixed that problem with 17.1. But what I suggest you do, if you didn't know about this, head on to your settings, go to location services, and right here you will have system services, and then here are significant locations. If you prefer to keep this feature off on your phone, make sure that you go ahead and check it, because if you didn't check it after you have updated to iOS 17, chances are that it might have turned on back automatically. So make sure to turn it off if you don't want to use that. And of course, it will no longer turn back on, as iOS 17.1 actually fixes that problem. So that's pretty much it for this video, guys. These are 10 new tips and tricks for iPhone users running their devices on the new iOS 17.1. Hope you guys found this video helpful. If you did, make sure to smash that like button, and of course subscribe if you want to see more iOS 17 videos, and I'll see you on the next one.